Hello, hello, welcome to North Carolina, where tonight it is the penultimate race of Season 7 of the Budweiser Cup Series. Two drivers head into this race with the likelihood of a championship looming over their heads, but it may falter at tonight's event from Rockingham Speedway for the Subway 400. While qualifying is ongoing, we might as well mention those two, as well as everyone else within the top 10 heading into this race. Hector Garcia, 19 points over Law Traynor. That's not necessarily groundbreaking, but also not necessarily something that he could sit comfortably with. So he's got to really get his A game on upon these final two races. Had a falter race last time out from Michigan. And then Shunome in third. He's likely going to secure that position. Bullen Fisher, fourth place. William Gregory in fifth. Lane Lyle, P6. Skylar Den in seventh. Frieza Rodriguez, P8. Then Cooper Ball in ninth. And Dragons in the top 10 in points. So, two races remain as qualifying has wrapped up here. Get bonus points for winning pole position, and Laura Traynor has done just that. She has closed in the gap just a bit further. She is now, I believe, 18 points if my distribution is correct. Joining her on the front row will be Bowen Fisher. Then Jukusho Nome and Mattis Bells in row 2, with Rich Roy and Rosa de la Cruz in row 3. Gatlin Downey making his league debut, and Ace Racer row 4, the final two set lap times. Meanwhile, William Gregory, Jamie McKinney, your defending race winner, Tyler Aziz, and Hector Garcia opt to start the back for this 12-car grid. And it's really, really good for this late stages of the season here for this league standards. So Law Traynor able to get pole position here, ran very well. At Michigan, then it wasn't a win, but runner-up is kind of the step she needed to get herself back in the right direction here. And she's been, prior to Michigan, suffering and just lost points to the precious 8 cars. So if she can continue that momentum, which so far she's already done one part of the job, and she could very well sneak back into a closer championship battle. That's more likelihood of her winning. Gene McKinney, number 33, your defending race winner, got his first career NR outline win. Kudos to him. Didn't see him too much during practice. In fact, I think he joined during qualifying, so this is going to be his first laps on the track. He's got that iRacing experience, and hopefully that should translate over here in terms of trying to adapt to the racetrack, the setup, especially when you don't have a lot of time left on your belt. So he's got to spend these final, what is now closer to 3 minutes during happy hour to dial it in, and he's just gonna have to figure it out during the race once time is up here. Gatlin Downey, I believe in league debut, if not a season debut. Number 65, haven't seen him for a good while. I do recall him being burnt out for most NR lanes, especially like BPNR. Good to see him back. Can we bring up Tala? He's doing his usual. Another driver that had trouble during practice, and not necessarily wrecking every time, but also just didn't get the time he would like to get dialed in. Had some issues. So where is Garcia? Probably not on track, but still, he is your championship leader, and I feel like if lost my train of thought. If you're if Trainor was able to turn her table around and start improving her race decisions and get the results she deserves, I feel like it's the exact opposite for Garcia. He's just been got unlucky in Michigan, and I fear that may turn the tide here as we head into what is now 2 races left in the season. Hopefully that isn't the case. I would like to see a good championship battle, but you can't wish upon a star for closer ratings, and, well, it is what it is. Under a minute left, and happy hour here, so not much time left before we get going. Or we can go now, that works too. They're not BPNR, but they delayed. Wow. Just make sure everything on my end is good to go.
Drivers, to your cars.
Alrighty, well, no issue during grading with Garcia, but this won't count towards the start attempts here. Only one reset available. That's pretty much standard for most leagues nowadays. So if we get unlucky on lap 1, then we'll have a reset. But after that, or if we get to lap 2, then the race will be deemed official. Unless they're more generous. Further generosity, much like BPNR does. And there we go.
Start your engines.
Had to wait out the entire minute. Because I don't feel like grading. Simply cry about it. So as they pace, 12 cars, I believe, are set to take the green flag here. 79 laps for tonight's 2x Square Cup Physics and points of no return at 5 to go. So pace cars shall head in. The championship is looming. Laura Trainor will lead us to the green flag. And we're underway in North Carolina. Still side by side off of turn 2, the 48 of Bowen Fisher able to get a better run. And he is going to get clear of the 18 and will lead the opening lap. 18 slots into second place. Mantis Bell's in third. Meanwhile, Rosadella Cruz for fourth and Shun Nome, they will get the spot. And just a little bit greedy here. I saw smoke back there, that being Talaziz number 20, and he's going to call it quits early, so at least get points on the board, I suppose. Garcia in the back, meanwhile, had been up for qualifying, so he's got a lot of work to do. Almost be right in front, just nowhere to go. McKinney and Best Rich Boy, number 29 this week, side by side in front of him. Meanwhile, back towards the front, Trainor found her footing, got the tires warmed up, and she's ready to attack Bowen Fisher. But Fisher had a runner-up finish at Watkins Glen a couple weeks ago. Also another driver that has been turning the tide around in terms of their seasons. Again, the runner-up, and wasn't able to do Michigan, don't think, so good to see him leading laps and return to his former glory, I think. I don't know much about the Budweiser lore. But here comes Trainor, looking inside now to head through 3 and 4. Rosalind Cruz up to 3rd, taking it from Matt Tiswells. Shunume remains in 5th. Trainor looking to peek her nose in again. And pretty much identical lines as the prior lap with these two. But still, before we're able to get a better run off the corner here. Garcia, meanwhile, back here in 9th, still behind McKinney and Rich Boy, although those two have separated themselves. So what strategies are we cooking up as we're only 7 laps in? Well, 79 laps, ideally you want to split it down evenly, only a one-stop strategy. I saw Trainor during practice and she was the only one I witnessed a long run pace, so if I had to judge her based on her speed, it's closer to 2 seconds of fall off, and she went about 48 laps before finally deciding to pit, so she's got the data for practice, and hopefully she uses it to her advantage. This is the Rockingham BR version, where there's multiple groups of racetrack. BR standing for Brian Ring, who during the early times of NR2003 basically refitted the default Papyrus tracks to include grip lanes. And that's where it all started. Back here, Garcia got around McKinney. And I was gonna look upon Rich Boy, number 29. Usually that was Kirsten until she opted for the 99 and remembers for Kyle Busch, but she likely remains as a 99 in terms of her sign-up, so Rich Boy steps into the number 29. And he's going to defend inside of Garcia, although the number 8 has a better run. And looks to be clear. Number 8 car up to 7. He smacks the wall a little bit. Not exactly clear. Just ropes the 29 back into this, as well as McKinney. Number 33 trying to go back to back here. And these 4, Cantanelli also included, number 65. They're losing the draft, which doesn't matter too much at Rockingham, but still something you gotta keep an eye on. It's just thinking like 1 mile track, a draft doesn't really matter. I'd say with NR, no matter what track it is, it pretty much solidifies whether or not you can win. It's like, if you're not keeping up with the leaders at any given point, and you lose pace towards them, you're not going to win, I believe. But that's just my hot take on it. As I believe it is top 5 that have slightly broken up. Mantis Bell's also sorry, Slipback, so there's a gaggle of 2. Braylon Gregory top 5, the last car within this lead group. Juno May just up the road as we head on board, looking inside of Rosa de la Cruz, unable to get it through turn 4, completing 14 laps of 79. And everyone has pretty much decided to run the top side here, get the better run off the corners here at the 1 mile rock. There goes Shunume on the inside for 3rd place. This season's been very quiet, just hasn't been wrecking too much. He hasn't really solidified himself in the top 5 presence, apart from strategies, but at least early on here, lap 16 now, he's looking really fast as he looks inside of Trainor for 2nd place. And For Rosa Cruz, it's a matter of which line they want to pick, and they're wanting the middle, or at least get inside 18. And it drift up the corner through 2. There's wrecking in the back here. That was McKinney and Mantis Wells. I saw one of them go airborne back there. But no caution. Usually the officials will be alerted that those two being frankly the top 2, Bowen Fisher and Chuko Shinomi, were having a battle of their lives for the race lead. Right now, Fisher just running outside. Shinomi P2. Trino in 3rd, side by side for 4th. That's being Rosa de la Cruz and William Gregory inside. Not clear. All the 18's gonna go around right in front. The 60. Only one for now. Nope, the 60's gonna spin back up the track. Through turn 2. Caution. So these two, between the 33 and the 5, run the caution. That certainly will be. I say will be. It was the caution. So as the field slows down here, lap 20, quarter way through, you take a look at what happened. Try on board here with the 60 of Rosa de la Cruz, heading into turn 1. Just a slight tap, you just can't do that with that R, like. And then 60, Rosa gets hit an additional time from Garcia, who has worked his way past Mantis for 6th. And just a bumper run gone wrong here. Fortunately, to bring out our first caution of the night here in the Budweiser Cup Series, as everyone hits down the pit lane. No brainer, 4-tire strategy. Yeah, it's a curved pit lane, so basically, I want to say everyone top 4, maybe even 5, have the biggest advantage. So off the pit lane is going to be number 48, Bowen Fisher leading. Garcia 2nd place, Gregory 3rd. Gatlin Downey also big gain up to 4th. I'm actually gonna look at those two specifically, whether or not what they took, I should say. Let's see, you took 4. Garcia, they also took 4, so, interesting. Just fast pit stops, or the others really rusty heading in. Unfortunately, McKinney's also out, so that makes 2 retirements, unless he's planning to be joined. So we're actually going to take a look at what happened with him and Mantis Wells a lap or 2 prior to that yellow. If I can find it. There we go. I feel like Gatlin Downey here might have a good look. No, never mind. That's my bad. I was gonna go on board, but I didn't realize the 33 is already side by side with them. So it looked like the 5 was already in the wall, and the 65 kind of just washed up here, and yeah, it is what it is. And we already went green. Apologies for missing the restart. This is why, even though you won't be able to hear the TeamSpeak audio whenever I'm alone, I would still like to know what the officials are saying. Talking to you, Juko. But with that debacle, we Unfortunately missed. We might as well look back at that since we missed it. This was at the restart. Before he got going, Garcia meanwhile was stuck in fourth gear. He didn't get down the gears in preparation for the restart, so that's why he's been lost quite a few positions. McKinney meanwhile has rejoined. He is back in the race, although 3 laps down. He'll wait for a yellow. So Fisher with the race lead. Gregory chasing him down in second. Trey North back up to the podium after first spin to trigger the caution. Galandelli another big gain out the pit lane in fourth. Jugo P5, Garcia in sixth, Maxwell's P7, Rosadella Cruz in eighth, McKinney's lapped, Ace Racer and nice now as the 29 had an issue. And it's just a self spin through turn 1. And only a single car accident, so more likely gonna get down the pit lane and get 4 fresh tires. Red Green 23, lap 23, so that still is at 1 stop, although you can get away a lot more with pushing. Just don't go overboard with it. So Defoe has been really confident on that top side, and rightfully so. He's been getting tremendous runs off the corner. Better be 2 or 4, which is nothing second place can do except maybe run a lane higher or just send it on entry. And those are the only 2 possibilities from what we've been seeing so far. I'm checking for it yet. 29th lap now, so McKinney's down back to 1 lap down, so he'll get lucky dog whenever there's a yellow, if they get one, from here until the point of no return. Bridgewater meanwhile 2 laps down after his spin, forcing him to pit. And Telesi is also in the garage, putting him 12th, so those are the only lap or cars not on the lead lap. The other 9 remain on track in the lead lap. Well, I say that, maybe there's a 3rd lap car to the list as Pinky Ponky Rosadella Cruz comes in. Likely a spin, dictating from how slow they were through turn 3. Or a 6 can park. That's also a reason to go down the pit lane. Garcia working on Shunome for 5th. Got a better run off the corner. Is gonna give him a slight push, not too much to spin him around. But Garcia had the track position on the restart, just fumbled. Because he restarted in 4th gear instead of the usual 1st or 2nd. And even just riding on board him, just how loose he is. The tires should have warmed up by now, but I still think it's just something that Garcia will have to manage. The looseness of the car, I believe it is expert step, so that's just naturally going to be slow. Not to mention a loose setup with 22 degrees of banking through turns 1 and 2 and 25 at 3 and 4. It's really going to be really upsetting if the driver gets a little too greedy on power. And then just general Rockingham for you. So as the field spreads out here, we're closing in on halfway in the Budweiser Cup Series from Rockingham Speedway. Bourne Fisher, the dominant driver of the day. William Gregory P2, Laura Trinor in third. Gatlin Downey, a good run for him in fourth. Juco Shionome P5. Hector Garcia P6. Mantis Bells in seventh. Ace Racer still in the lead lap in P8. McKinney and Rich Boy 9th and 10th. That's those two being lapped. Rosa de la Cruz opted to park as well as Tala Aziz. So those are your two DNFs. We're at 18 as we ran on board. Ever since that spin, well, she's kind of just been not necessarily pressuring me, like kind of just been running here in third. I like to think otherwise, as she tries to work on Gregory for second. Trying different lines on exit, get some kind of momentum. She did get that, but had to slow up to not run into the back of the 12, but she's going to look inside for second. As just behind them, but Alpha 4, Shionome working on Gatlin Downey. The 65 smacks a wall. And Garcia's also pretty much just been watching all of this last car within this gaggle here. And Garcia just gotta be patient here. Got a little bit of a push to Gatlin Downey. And again, you want to move but another really sketchy push there down the front straightaway. It's you still got plenty of time, still got green flag pit stops if we get there. And Garcia heads into this race 19 points over the 18 Trainor, who finally gets second place from Gregory. Did get pole position, so that closes the gap down even further. Oh, big smack for Gatlin Downey off 2. Shionome won second place from Trainor as they rocket through 3 and 4. I feel like if there is a slump for the 48, really just giving away his weakness here is that he's not necessarily fast during green flag pit stops, especially on entries, so drivers were warned through the global whisper to watch out for him, especially. Meanwhile, Mantis Bells has rejoined the track, just came out of the pits, and just in front of leaders trying to remain one lap down. Someone died, that being Jimmy McKinney through 3 and 4, and he's going again. Meanwhile, for the lead, Shionome on the attack now. Fisher. If you hear a dog, I apologize. And that's just a side note. There's another spin. I think that's with Kenny again. That yes, indeed. So no hope for him to go back to back, unfortunately. Still relatively new to NR, so I can't exactly slander him too much. So pit stops under green flag conditions right around the corner. If you're looking for the optimal strategy, we started on lap 23. So if my math is correct, roughly 5 to 10 laps from now is when we should see them hit down the pit lane. And McKinney safely makes it down the pit lane. That sucks for him. No, not a lot of practice. The only practice he got was during qualifying and happy hour, so just really been struggling all day, and yeah, don't see him getting too far this second half here. So now he's turned back to third, as now that's a battle. Is Garcia chasing down Trainor? Is the two uh, protagonists here for the championship? Garcia led 19 points in. And right now, Trainor would gain points on Garcia. Although neither of them have led a lap, I believe, so stay on that. Stalemate on that. Might as well look at fastest lap. It is Trainor, so she will get another point for that. No additional points for the Comcast fastest lap. Oh, and as soon as I speak about the championship, it'll be Garcia in the wall through turn 1. That allowed Gregory and Gatladali to bombard him for what will be a battle for 4th. There was a brief moment up the road with Shionome looking again for the lead and wasn't able to keep it side by side. Starting to see the fall off here. It's like a little bit of lockup for Fisher, but 26.7, 26.9, 26.7, or 26.7. So they're right what I mentioned about the fall off 2 seconds. So it'd be best to pit here as we hit halfway through the stint, and Fisher is going to be the first to come in, surrendering the race lead. So it'll be Shionome who leads. I feel like at this point, once one of them bites, it's the best time to cover them up. Don't go out too far. And I hate to bring in Tala for this example, but just the last 2 BPNR races in general, not just E1, but trying to get greedy with the overcuts, and he bit the dust there, not able to gain the lost time back. Still waiting on these guys to pit. 27s were the leaders' most recent lap, as Fisher has just exited the pit lane. And we'll see how fast he'll be going in. These leaders who have opted to stay out this long has got to react at some point. You can't, especially on a track this small, you can't just wait to see my bad. I was getting whisper calls, but you can't stay out for too long, because if you're waiting to see how fast they're going, more often than not, it's way too late. And if you're already lost that time, you were trying to monitor. Gregory will be the next to bite, surrendering 4th. Shionome continues to lead, just shy of 20 to go here. We're expecting number 18 of Trainor to pit here. If I were Garcia, even though you want to pass 18, I feel like you should follow. But he's not going to. He's going to pass her around the outside as the 18 slows down for this pit entry, or not. He's gonna go in with her. Beautiful. Oh, contact! A really sketchy pit entry, but both of them keep it under control. The 18's gonna let it go, as both of them are bogging it down to 45 miles per hour. The 8 gets hit entering after making a outside pass. They're trying to gain an advantage entering pits. And Galen Downey, Jukuju Nome, the final two out of the lead group we were watching to pits. That's 58. Yeah, 48's long gone, so they're on the same lap. Garcia ahead of Traynor, but Gregory is ahead of those two. And like I said, Fisher long gone. We're just waiting on a few cars who have still yet to pit. Ace Racer, Mantis Wells, I think, or Garcia can just warp to hell, nearly killing Traynor as they're side by side. And that was really close. But at very minimum, those two will get ahead of Shunome and Gatlin Downey. Ooh, those two are ready to get lapped. That is a massive gain for Fisher. Ace Racer 46 pits. I believe he's the last car to pit. I think the 5 pitted. He was the first to pit out of everyone. So currently remaining third place. At least that's what scoring says. But he is going to bounce off the wall here and has the oldest tires, so no surprise. He's starting to fall off here. I believe pit cycle has ended, so afterwards we're heading into the final 15 laps shortly at Rockingham Speedway. Both Fisher, your race leader, William Gregory, P2, Mantis Bells in third. Maybe not for long, as Traynor and Garcia are working together to get close to them. Gatlin Downey P6, Jukushu Nome P7, and those are the only 7 cars left on the lead lap, as Rich Boy will be Lucky Dog if there were to be a caution. Ace Racer and Gene McKinney also left. Rosa de la Cruz, number 60, and Tom Aziz's number 20 out of the race. So while Fisher's long gone, here's the exchange for third, and it's no contest. And Mattis Bell's really slow, loses 2 positions at that, but it is still lower ahead of Garcia. Does she maintain fast time? She does. Narrowly though. I think Fisher tried to gunning for it, but just 2,000ths of a lap shy of gaining that bonus point. But that's still really, really valuable for Traynor if she were to close in on this championship. And Garcia, 4th place, just trying anything. These two pit on the same lap. And despite the little contact entering pit lane, I don't expect any brewing, I don't expect any viewing hatred towards these two. It's just a fair fight for the championship. This is the penultimate race of the season, after all. And if you're Garcia, there's only so much he could do. Right now, I believe he's just backing off, just trying to save his tires for the final laps here. But that's really all he can do. Or he got loose through one, but it's just a high side track, and ultimately the 18 got a better pit stop, or the 8 fumbled again later on, likely because of the stability issues he's been experiencing during the race. So looks to me that unless something happens, which might almost had, it'll be McKinney spinning in front of these two, as well as the lap car. He's gonna stay up there. And the track is clear, only one. But that looked really sketchy there. Oh. got Ace Racer just in front of these two of Gatlin Downey and Chukwushionoma, who are battling for 5th. But they negotiate lap cars, kind of a similar motif. Although these two have been exchanging positions, and with Shionoma ahead of Downey. And that was the other way around, and just as you see it happen, Shionoma wants the position back. Try and get himself a top 5 finish. As we within 10 to go, it is Gregory trying to close in. He has been doing so, but I don't think it's enough time. 25.6 is recent time, 26.0 for Fisher. But Fisher pitted right around the halfway point, or just prior to it. At least between these two, it was 3 to 4 lap difference, so Gregory does have that advantage. And Tyra, it's just that Fisher knew that he needed to pit at halfway, just get as big as an advantage as he can with the fall off here. Build out that huge margin so that 12 won't be able to recover, although might be daunting on him as the lead gap cuts down here. 25.68, 26.1, so 0.3 per lap. I don't think it's enough. I really don't think it's enough. All Fisher can do as he's leading the race, just keep it on the track, make little mistakes. We're at 6 to go now. So point no return just around the corner here, meaning no more cautions from then on. And from there you can just cruise to victory. Although, it's not settled until checker flag. And Garcia just struggling out of the corners, just not hearing all the throttle being put down. On exit, I like you listen. I just, It could be something where 4th gear is a little bit too long to really notice it. It'll just hurt like it's bogging. So we're at point of no return. Lead gap is 3.1, so the 12 has been gaining massively. Half a second now. At least this the advantage the 12 got this most recent lap. Now across the line. 26.3, 25.4, so Garcia, or not Garcia, Gregory, excuse me, really turned up the heat at 2.6 seconds in 3 laps. It's gotta be a miracle. Or just a massive mistake for Bowen Fisher. It's 2 to go. Man down Thunder Alley. These two on the same straightaway now. 2.2. But they will see the white flag. Bowen Fisher shall receive it. And just the upward he's been having. Watkins Glen, a runner-up finish. Having to fend up against Hector Garcia of all people. And now, with a beautiful strategy during this final 3 quarters of the race, it's going to be Bowen Fisher stayed out of victory lane for way too long. He returns it at Rockingham. And Traynor did in fact get ahead, stayed ahead of Garcia. She's going to gain points. Big influx on the championship. 2 seasons since Bowen Fisher last saw victory lane. And what a beautiful mastery of this race for him. Not just speed, but getting the strategy down. And he has well earned this win. He burns it down in North Carolina. It's just emotional through the Global Whisper. Sure, we'll get that same kind of emotion when we interview him, if he decides to. And I feel for him, it's just, you haven't won in so long, it's like, at least for me, I don't win too often in NR, so I really understand what Fisher has been going through. Just the slumps he's been having in NR. Maybe it's just a Budweiser thing, or if he does multiple leagues, but still, he can finally cherish a win again. I don't know if you can access a victory lane here. Yeah, it's over here, but I don't know if he can access it. Trying to find him. Yeah, I don't see a way through, so sucks for him, but check flies all that matters here. And that was a really good race in terms of strategy. And just Fisher really took advantage of the slump. That was the fall off 2 seconds per lap. Unofficial race results here. Blunt Fisher, your race winner. William Gregory, P2. Laura Traynor in 3rd. Garcia, P4. Jukuchu Nome, top 5 finish. Gatlin Downey, P6. The final car to finish on lead lap. Then it's Ace Racer, Mattis Wells. Rich Roy, and Jamie McKinney in the top 10. With Rosa de la Cruz and Tyler Aziz, the 2 DNFs of the 12-car grid. Really good stuff here. And prepare for these interviews because I already have 4 of them waiting in the waiting room. All of them have their really good stories that I'm sure they'll go into further detail. So let's first bring up our race winner.
User was moved to your channel.
Bowen Fisher, do you got me?
Yeah, I got you.
I just hear the emotional sentiment over the whisper. You gotta run up at Watkins Glen, and at least according to you, it's been 2 years since your last Budweiser win. I don't know how often you win in NR, but I can tell that it was just an emotional victory here at the Rock.
Yeah, I think it's been just a little over a year, but I haven't won in Rockingham in the Cup Series, and the first time we ran it was going to be my first win here. But of course, Zach Hiller had that whole thing, and then I eventually at least got my first win that season. But no, I don't think there's anywhere else I'd want to win to come back like this, especially after that performance at Watkins Glen. It's been so long, especially since IndyCar. Yeah, I won, but we had less people. We were messing around a little bit more. But to get a 30th NR win, I know that's not as many as a lot of other people, but it means a lot to me. And to win Rockingham after I've been trying for so long in so many different leagues, after it was the first ever NR track I ran, even offline, there's nowhere else I'd rather win.
Well, you guys, at least for these last 2 races that you've done, a 2nd place, a 1st place, what do you got if you're able to show up, that is, for Homestead?
I guess I go for the win. Last couple of races, I haven't even been able to show up properly for Homestead. Although I think last season it was more so me fumbling the bag on the strategy, and today I can't believe I even got a good strategy today just by running it down, especially after that green flag pit stop. I knew as soon as I got out of there, I just had to run and get that gap because I think Will was faster than me even after getting older tires, but he may have been pushing a little bit harder than I was. And I was keeping an eye on the clock the whole time since he was for the last like 10 to go, he was catching up enough to get me by at least 2 to go. But by 5 to go, he had stalled out there, and I knew I just had to sail it home safe.
And right away, you did. A beautiful strategy you've cooked up. Congratulations on your race win. And thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Victor.
User was moved out of your channel.
Excuse me. How about our runner-up finisher?
User was moved to your channel.
William Gregory, do you got me?
Hello?
Hello? Well, runner-up finish here in North Carolina. I saw you were gaining upmost to half a second per lap on the 48, but ultimately
Yeah,
it came just short.
yeah, I was really pushing my stuff trying to catch him, but it was too little, too late, really.
Well then, good performance tonight as well as Michigan. So does the notion carry over to the season finale next Friday?
Hopefully, I think I might do good there.
Well, not the best to stay out for as long as you did, although it's better than what most of the lead group did, but
Yeah,
still, for a track like this, I honestly suggest just to cover up the undercuts that was Fisher pitting at a little halfway to the, I believe that was a 50 lap stint y'all did for that final run, so
yeah,
that's just advice for next time. But regardless, congratulations on your runner-up finish. Thank you for joining me.
yeah. Thank you too. Thank you for streaming.
User was moved out of your channel.
Hydrate break before we move on. Alrighty. Next up, third.
User was moved to your channel.
Laura Traynor, do you got me?
I do. How are you doing tonight?
Doing fine. Well, you certainly capitalized on points, even though you didn't get all of them that you would like. You won pole, you got the Comcast fastest lap. So, how about that race of yours?
Yeah, it was definitely a very rough race there, especially the incident with Pinky during the race. But overall, great race. You know, had a good battle with Hector Garcia there. I had no idea he was coming to pit road, so the contact there was just shock from him pitting. I didn't think he was going to pit there, but you know, it was a great race. We got a lot of points we needed to. I wish I could have at least led one lap, but beggars can't be choosers. But overall, pretty good race. I'm very glad that we gained as much as we did.
Well, there's only one race left, and that is Homestead. What do you have against the number 8?
Well, the fact that I won last year definitely helps, and Homestead is one of my favorite tracks of all time, so I feel very confident going into Homestead. I'm very ready to take this title.
Well, make this an exciting championship fight that not just me, but the viewers will have to endure. Congratulations on your podium finish tonight. Thank you for joining me.
Of course, have a great night.
User was moved out of your channel.
And finally, one more.
User was moved to your channel.
Juco, do you got me?
Yes, I do.
Well, I mentioned how you were just pretty quiet during the season overall. Haven't really gotten the speed to win races, nor have you been a wrecking ball, but this is the first time I can confidently say you really shined out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, I was really keeping my tires least went as much as possible. I knew there was going to be a long run, and I really like long runs. I'm not a short run guy, so that before that first caution came out, I was cooking. I was going to pass Bowen, and it was going to be great. But then that caution came out, and then I did not play my strategy right. I should have been at least top two. I feel like first ever race this season that I had a confidently winning speed, so that was a bummer. Top five does not present our day, but I'm glad at least I showed I had something.
Well, I want to. I don't have any more questions, but I do want to say while we're here, thank you for providing us with the league, you and Bowen, really, for giving us a small lead to really show your grit and muscle that is trying to work your way through the NR rankings, and I am very happy to broadcast your races here.
Yep, thank you for broadcasting. It's been a real fun joy. Hopefully, I showed other people that I can be up front and kick some ass. So thank you.
Well, we hope you to continue that wording through the season finale here. Congratulations on your top 5 here tonight. Thank you for joining me.
All right, thank you.
User was moved out of your channel.
And that shall conclude the interviews for tonight. Really fun. I feel really energized still. I could go over tomorrow, but honestly, it may be too late for me. Their qualifying session is in 2 minutes on Cheese Food Media. So, that'll be streamed on Cheese Food Media. Saturday, tomorrow, OSCC has their season finale from Michigan. I believe the championship is locked up over there. So, actually, let me check while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so Lau heads into the final race at Michigan, 17 over William Viola. Now, granted, this is an F1 based point system, so it is, I believe the max points you can get is around 28, so that's very unlikely for Viola to close in on Lyle, but still, anything can happen. Hector Garcia, our very own, won Rookie of the Year over there, and DD Racing won team standings, so kudos to them. Still one more championship to decide for CC. And speaking of championships, DSRA, Viola is leading over there. 37 over Tyler Aziz. Another very unlikelihood for the second place guy, but it's Martinsville. If you can't win a championship, you gotta get needy greedy for at least a race win. And that'll be Sunday, 9:30. And, well, folks, one more race to go in the Budweiser Cup Series next Friday. Homestead Miami Speedway. It is Hector Garcia versus Laura Traynor. You will see it here on MCRP. And like I told Jigo, I really have fun streaming these races. And hopefully we can bear witness to what should be an exciting battle between Traynor and Garcia in Southern Florida. Is it Southern Florida? I think so. I don't know my geography. I'm not a Florida guy. But regardless, thank you for tuning in tonight. And I don't have any other streams until then. So until next Friday.